Hey guys, today we're working on the M40P build, the custom 40-Ford pickup that we're building on a Mustang chassis. Welcome to iNVision Prototypes, I'm Nick. Last time in this series for the truck, we formed up the bedside. We put some shape into this panel here, created the flanges, and we now have it clamped in place. But we can't really go any further until we get a few more of these pieces created. So today we're going to be working on the tailgate. It doesn't look very complicated, but it is, because it's not a straight piece that goes all the way across. It has some curvature to it. So we need to create and put that curvature into that panel, while maintaining a relatively straight edge up above. Okay, so here's the tailgate, and if we lay it up here on top, it overlaps the rod just a little bit at the bottom. This is going to be pretty straight through here. There will be some convex shape that we have to put into it because it's actually concave in here at the moment. So we'll bring that out, and we'll have to stretch this bottom edge, roll a flange, and create this bottom so it extends out and picks up the rear fascia area. And then once this is established and clamped in place, maybe a few screws to the side pieces, will form up these side corners. Let's head over the wheel and get wheeling on this panel. All right, so we've got the tailgate on the back of the truck now, and as you can see, we've got some curvature happening here, some convex shape. We've grown out in this area here, but we have a kind of a flat area through here. So we're going to have to take and wheel up the center section, bring it out, allowing the ends to dive down and blend into the corner pieces. And then once we've established the main shape, we'll take and scribe the bottom to create the bottom edge and roll that in. And then the tailgate, we can get that mounted just on clamps on the buck. At that point, we can start the corners. All I'm doing right now is just blending again. So if you guys check out the door skin video, and we wheel that up, this is again very similar to that procedure. Okay, so if you noticed earlier, last time we had this up, we had a bit of a dip up and through here, so we had to bring that up. This concavity that was in here, it's gone now. And this bottom edge has come out to where it needs to be, just inside that rod. So this rod is actually the exterior skin of the bottom panel. So we're just about there. So what we're gonna do is take and scribe the bottom line and start preparing to bend the bottom. The edges we're going to do later on once the corners are blended in, because I need to establish where the cut line is going to be for the tailgate opening. So we're just going to wash this panel out for the final time and go try it on the car, or on the truck. Let's see how it looks. There's a very nice curvature to it. And it sounds very nice as we're wheeling it. Watch your finger. Okay, out we go. Perfect. Okay, just slip it under there. Yep. That's looking Very good. So you can see how much curvature we've just attained in this panel. Now, this does have to come in just a little bit. That does have to move this way a little bit. There. So we'll clamp that to the buck. We'll take and scribe this bottom line and start bending the flange for the bottom of the tailgate. Got the laser level set up. You might not be able to see it. Could you hit the lights? You might see it with the lights off. Probably not. I don't know. You can't see the body panels now. Just switch that way. So now we can run our masking tape to that laser line. The sheet metal is a little bit oily. So we'll cut the material off and then move up 1/2 inch, and that will be our flange for the bottom of the tailgate. Okay. All right. Good. So we just finished rolling the bottom edge, the bottom flange on this tailgate, and I'm going to leave it at this point here. I'm not going to establish the cut lines just yet. I want to form up these 2 corners on both sides and make sure that we get them fitting where they need to be. This side here needs to come in just a little bit, so that'll have to be adjusted. That flange will be adjusted. We'll get the fender on, and we'll kind of get these pieces all lined up to each other, and then we'll take and find out exactly where we need to make the cut line and do that. And there we go. That's going to be the template for this piece. Our wheeling zone is going to consist of this area right here. We can't go into here too much because this is a flat side. We can't radius and have that come out. So we're going to have to take and kind of work this in right through here, just like that. I'm not a great artist, so that's about as close as we're going to get it on this piece of paper here. There we go. So we've got our template, we've got our wheeling zone indicated, and now I have to imagine that wheeling zone on this piece. So I'm basically going to wheel up the area of this blue here on this panel without actually marking it up. I'm going to kind of break the panel a little bit with my hands just to give it a bit of shape. Not really necessary at this point because we're going to get a lot of shape into it very shortly. Now the whole bunch of back and forth in a tapered manner, just like the template indicated. We're going to start stretching out this material. We can't stretch this area here because that's the box side. We can't have this bulging out. It has to blend into the side of the box. Now there's going to be a whole bunch of stretch up in the top here, and we might actually have to do some tuck shrinking just to get that to do what we need it to do. And to speed up the process just a bit, we're going to take and switch anvils and change directions. This is a small piece, so if we do get any wheeling marks, we can address them relatively simply by just working it out some more. Okay. Let's go with this one. What the heck? Let's get adventurous today. So for this piece, I want to move some metal around pretty quickly. We need that top corner to kind of turn into a bit of a ball. Panel's going to get pretty gnarly, but then we'll work it out. The panel's still open, so things are kind of not where they need to be for the final shape. But as soon as you start closing the panel, it should start falling into place. This panel is still in the open position, so the proper shape isn't there yet, and we have a couple things going on that shouldn't be there. But if we just put this up on the buck, we can see if we roll that down, we're starting to get the shape we need. This has to come out here to meet up with the box. There's a flat bar there, so that needs to come down just like that. So what I'm going to do, it is pretty close at this point. May not look like it, but it's pretty close. I'm going to get the rubber wheel in and close the panel up a little bit and see how it sits. And then we'll fine tune it to see where we need to stretch the material to sit in the right location. Like I said, we can't touch the side because that has to remain relatively flat and made up with the panel that's extending from the front there. See, the rubber wheel doesn't perform miracles in terms of getting your final shape where it needs to be. It's just a rubber wheel, but it helps you align the panel. I can do this by hand, but you know, you can only do so many panels by hand. Okay, so we have too much material there, we have too much material here. So we can either shrink that, which I might just do. By stretching the material up where I'm wheeling, it's going to take and pull this into alignment. And then later on, if I need to, I'll touch it up with a kick shrinker. But you don't want to depend on that to do your majority of your work. Okay, let's do something here. As I'm wheeling this, the panel is opening up. So we're going to have to close it a bit. Okay. Coming in nice. Got some creases in there because of the angle I put it through just a second ago. So let's correct that. Not sure if you guys can see it, but that edge should be straightening up as we're wheeling this area here. It's got a nice sound to it too at this point. Okay, let's reduce the pressure just a bit and blend it in. See, hardly any pressure. I can just get the panel in without fighting it too much. All I'm doing is blending. So I just tried this up on the buck, and this is open too much yet. We smoothed it out, looking not too bad, but the angle of approach to the next panel, to the one in front of it, it's not right. So we have to take and grow this area some more. So I'm gonna switch over to a higher crown anvil, pick this material up a bit more, that'll suck in. All about the wheeling zone. I do have a bit of excess material on the end, about 1 inch here, that I'm leaving. Otherwise I'd have to wheel off the edge of the panel every single time. Later on we'll take and trim that off and we'll be where we need to be. Okay, so as you can see, the shape is getting really close. Got the top curving down, that's coming to the tailgate, actually a bit too much here. So I have to correct that. And because you stretched so much here, that dove down. And here, this has to come in a bit tighter to this rod here. So if I actually cut that back a bit, we're probably where we need to be. But I want the panel to sit here comfortably and have each panel overlap a bit so we can put a few screws into them to hold them together for now. But as you can see, that's come out quite nice. So right now I'm going to switch to a flatter anvil and start cleaning things up and kind of tidying up this shape here because there's a few wheeling marks. I want to clean that up. You probably hear tracking marks as I'm cleaning them up. So in regards to the front panels, we basically had to form up 2 of everything. 2 front fenders, 2 grills, 2 hoods, 1 for the truck and 1 for the coupe. Once we finish up these panels here on the truck, at least a preliminary shaping, we'll put them aside. We'll fit them to each other, get all that scribed, then we'll put them aside. And then we're going to focus on finishing the coupe. I'll have to change anvils to get into the corner here to finish that up, but I want to smooth out everything else. Actually, let's go to a flatter anvil. Tidy things up a little bit. Hardly any pressure. I can sneak right in there with the piece and not too much trouble. Now the other thing is, I'll switch over, we'll clean this area up, then we'll go through and I'll tidy this up a little bit with the kick shrinker and see how it fits. Just making sure that we're blending in. A few little wheeling marks. Take care of those. You'd think to clean up wheeling marks, you'd have to increase the pressure. Give it a try sometime. See what happens. All right, let's see how it looks. Boom, there we go. That's almost straight. Most of this will be trimmed away, about an inch of that. This is coming into the tailgate area. And that is all lining up above. Look at that. That's where we're gonna leave this piece now. So at this point, we can throw the side on, throw the fender on, and throw the tailgate on, and see how it all looks. And if things are good, then we'll move on to the roof. You see how much extra material we have sticking out past here? So really can't do much about that at the moment. We will trim that away. I could have left it at this mark here earlier, but that's fine. And I can't sneak it ahead anymore because that's sitting right where it needs to up front here. So you can have to use your imagination and just erase this part that you're seeing. And here's our tailgate. Yeah, we can get to that. And again, we're kind of just overlapping the panels. Just like that. Let's throw this fender on, see how that looks. I was thinking that perhaps I can clamp this and we can have a look and see how everything fits together. Now we're still a number of hours away from being done here, but you can get the general idea. This flange, this side panel on the box needs to be brought out a little bit. There's a rod that's kind of holding it at the moment, and this fender isn't tucked up all the way. You see, you guys, we lift it up into place there. Okay, the only thing I don't have at this moment, we've shaped it up already, but I don't have this corner of the cab installed yet. And it's only because I need to be able to get my clamps in there to hold this box side. All right, guys, so the tailgate's done, the box corner's done. I still need to finish up the driver's side box corner, and then we can call this back section finished, at least in terms of shaping. Don't get me wrong, there's still a lot of work ahead of us, but for the preliminary shapes of everything, we're well on our way. These cab corners down here have been done, finished, and it's a matter of just flanging everything and joining them up in such a way that we don't have a continuous line. I don't want this to look like a ute. We want to have a kind of a split between here. It's going to be joined further back inside, but you won't be able to tell that unless you actually climb inside and take a look with a mirror or whatever. Next time when you join us, we're going to be working on the roof section, either the rear wall or the top. And depends what mood I'm in, I'm not sure we're going to start with first. Thanks very much for watching. Give us a thumbs up and see you next time.